The story of Saul in 1 Samuel 15 begins with a moment that feels decisive, clear, and unmistakable. God speaks through the prophet Samuel, and the message is not vague, symbolic, or open to interpretation.
It is direct. It is specific. It is complete.
There is no ambiguity in what is required. Saul, the king of Israel, is given a mission that carries both weight and finality. He is commanded to go against the Amalekites and completely destroy them.
Not partially. Not selectively. Completely.
Nothing was to be spared.
No exceptions. No adjustments. No reinterpretation.
This was not just a military command. It was a test of obedience. At first, everything seems to unfold as expected. Saul gathers the army. He prepares for battle. He moves forward with strength and authority. The campaign begins, and it is successful.
The Israelites advance.
They overpower their enemies. They conquer the territory. From the outside, it looks like a complete victory. But it is precisely in that moment of success that something begins to shift.
Something subtle. Almost invisible at first.
Saul begins to reinterpret the command.
Not openly. Not dramatically.
But quietly, internally. Instead of carrying out the instruction exactly as it was given, he starts to make small adjustments.
He spares King Agag.
And alongside his people, he allows the best of the livestock to be kept. The strongest animals.
The most valuable ones.
On the surface, it doesn't seem like rebellion. In fact, it can even appear reasonable. Strategic.
Practical. Perhaps even wise.
But this is where the danger lies. Because disobedience rarely presents itself as something obvious. It doesn't arrive loudly, declaring itself as rebellion. Instead, it comes quietly. Disguised as logic. Disguised as good judgment. Disguised as a better idea. Saul likely didn't see himself as disobedient. He may have believed he was improving the outcome. Refining the command. Making a decision that added value. Perhaps he even thought it had a spiritual purpose. Keeping the best animals. After all, they could be used for sacrifice. It sounds noble. It sounds meaningful. But while Saul was shaping his own version of obedience, God was already seeing the truth behind it. Because obedience is not about intention alone. It is about alignment. And in that moment, Saul was no longer aligned.
Days pass.
And then something unexpected happens. Samuel receives a message from God. It is not a message of approval. It is not a message of celebration. It is a message of grief. God declares that he regrets making Saul king. This is a powerful and sobering moment. Because it reveals that the issue was never just about what Saul did. It was about why he did it. It was about the condition of his heart. When Samuel goes to meet Saul, the scene is almost shocking. Saul greets him with confidence. There is no hesitation.
No visible guilt.
No awareness of what is about to unfold. He says with certainty, "I have carried out the Lord's command."
And for a brief second,
it almost feels convincing. But then something breaks that moment. In the background, a sound begins to rise.
The sound of sheep. The noise of cattle. It fills the silence.
It exposes everything. Because what Saul tried to justify
could not be hidden.
Samuel asks a question that cuts straight through the illusion. What then is this bleating of sheep in my ears? It is a simple question, but it carries undeniable weight.
And in that instant,
Saul realizes he has been exposed. There is no more room for interpretation. No more room for subtlety. So he does what many do in that moment. He begins to justify.
He shifts the focus.
He says the people spared the animals. He explains that they intended to sacrifice them to God. It sounds spiritual. It sounds reasonable. It even sounds honorable. But beneath that explanation, something deeper is revealed. Saul was trying to use something spiritual to cover something disobedient. And that is where Samuel responds. With one of the most powerful statements in all of Scripture. To obey is better than sacrifice. That sentence changes everything. Because it dismantles the illusion. It reveals a truth that cannot be ignored. God is not interested in outward acts that attempt to compensate for inward failure. No matter how meaningful something looks. If it is built on disobedience, it loses its value. The issue was never the sacrifice. The issue was the decision that led to it. And even more than that, the attempt to justify that decision. Saul continues trying to defend himself.
But this time, something shifts.
The confidence begins to fade. The excuses begin to weaken. And then, finally, the truth surfaces. He admits that he feared the people. He confesses that he gave in to pressure. And right here, we reach the core of the story. Saul did not lose the kingdom because of a single mistake. He lost it because, when faced with pressure, he chose approval over obedience.
He chose to please people instead of honoring God.
It was not just a failure of action. It was a failure of character. And that changes everything. Because decisions made under pressure
reveal who we really are.
Samuel then delivers the final declaration. The consequence is irreversible. The kingdom will be taken from Saul. And it will be given to someone else.
Someone better.
Someone whose heart is aligned.
In that moment,
Saul's destiny is sealed. Not because of a dramatic rebellion. Not because of a visible collapse. But because of a decision that seemed small at the time. A decision that felt justified. A decision that appeared harmless, but carried deep consequences. And this is where the story becomes personal. Because it is not just about Saul. It is a mirror. How many times do we do the same? We adjust small details.
We ignore certain parts.
We convince ourselves that it's acceptable. We create our own versions of what is right.
We reshape truth to fit our preferences.
We adapt principles to match our choices. And on the surface, everything still looks fine.
But deep down, we know.
We know when something is off. We know when we are drifting. Saul's story is not just a warning. It is an invitation to awareness. Obedience is not partial. It is not flexible. And it cannot be negotiated. Because every decision we make is shaping something greater. It is shaping direction. It is shaping identity. It is shaping destiny.
And in the end, the choice is still ours. Not in theory. Not in words. But in action.
Which path will you choose?